Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be talking to us again along academic practice in something I think also will benefit you guys. Before I continue, my name is Dr. Emmanuel Obodo. I'm a biomedical scientist and I'm also a lecturer in biomedical science here in the United Kingdom. Wow! So let's get into this. Now, I have talked to us about academic writing. There's also what we call academic practice. You'll be hearing all kinds of things, okay? And I think, like I've said on my previous video, I think I'll be talking to us again about the importance of conclusion in your writing and what effective conclusion means. And perhaps I will talk to you guys about research as well, types of research and all of that. But let's stay focused for now. Now, what exactly is academic practice? So there's what we call academic practice. Let me give you an example. So I'm going to make this very quick. If you write something without supporting it with evidence, what I mean evidence, like I've said before on my previous video, without supporting with a source from the literature, okay? You write something, Emmanuel Obodo is a boy or a man. I'm not sure what you think about me, but anyway, if you think I'm a boy, I'm a man, for the fact that there's a paper that said I'm a boy or a man, support it. So if you see a paper that says Emmanuel Obodo is a boy, you put it there. That's a source, okay? If you see a paper that says Emmanuel Obodo is a man, you put it there. It's up to you. Hopefully you won't see a paper that said I'm a girl. Hopefully not. But if you have it, you say, oh, other paper said that I'm a boy. The other one said I'm a man. But another paper said I'm a girl. For the fact you are supporting the evidence, that's a good academic practice. When you make a point without supporting it with evidence, it's not a good academic practice. One. Two, when we are writing as well, it's important that in your writing, a good academic practice include that when you, of course, you have to know the method of citation or the reference style your institution or university is using, whether APA, like I've mentioned, MLA, or maybe Harvard, as the case may be. You've got to find out and then use that method, okay? Now, I'm going to be talking generally, by the way. Now, if you use a table or you use a figure in your writing, academic writing demand, sometimes what students do that, you put a figure in your writing, you put a table in your writing, but you are not telling us where you got the table from. You are not telling us where you got the figure from. When we read your texts, your writing, your essay writing, you are not referring to the table. That's a wrong academic practice. So a good academic practice, if you're going to put a table, when you write, let's say it's table 1, for example, table 1. Yeah. If you're going to put it, if you write and say, oh, Emmanuel is a boy and blah, 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 blah. Another study that Emmanuel said another study showed that Emmanuel is a whatever thing we think. You know what I'm saying? I'm just trying to say something, okay? So once you finish doing the writing, okay, you can say, see table 1. That's a good academic writing. Don't miss it, because you are going to, when you say see table 1, remember, I've taught you guys about citing a source. So you need to cite a source. So when you say Emmanuel is a boy, as the case may be, see table 1, you don't need to come and say maybe Obodo et al. That's no longer relevant. Once you say see table 1, that becomes a source. What we now need to do is to go to table 1. When we get to table 1, you will now see your informations. Now, in that table 1, you must include the source. Do you understand? So that is why in that table 1, you can say something like maybe obtain, retrieve, whatever best for you, obtain or retrieve, okay, or adapted from Obodo et al. Then when we come to the main text, what we're seeing is see table 1. That's not a name. Table 1 is just a table, like you say, table. That's not a source as per paper. Are you getting it? But by the time we get to the table, we can see the source, which is obtain, adapted, or retrieve from Obodo et al., for example. Then that is a source. That is a good academic practice. Now, let me also include this. Of course, when it comes to tables and figures, even there's what we call figure legend. I'll come to that. So when we come to that, depending on how the university structure it, okay, it shouldn't be part of the word count, okay? Now, a good academic practice means that anytime you are writing a legend, okay, a figure legend, for example, the font size should be small. I think I'm jumping too fast. When I come to that. So when you say table 1, you put the information about the table, maybe underneath of the table, depending on how you arrange it, on top of the table, depending on the referencing style. Then you now say obtain from, you now mention the source. Okay, that's a good academic practice. Now the same thing is also applicable in the figure. Okay, so when you write figures, okay, when you write your text, you can say see figure 1. You don't even need to say see. Even if you say bracket, open bracket, figure 1, we know that that's what you mean, and you close the bracket, full stop. That's it. So all is now up to us to go to the figure 1 or figure 2 or table 1 or table 2. Remember? Okay, so when you go there, we also want to see the figure, but it's important you also tell us where the figure is coming from. The same way it's important for you to tell us where the table is coming from. Okay, so that's why you can also say, after you've written whatever you've written on the figures, you can also say obtain, retrieve, adapted from, you quote the source. Do you understand, guys? Okay, now it's important that we do this because that is a good academic practice. If you write something without mentioning the table and you put the table, we don't know how to look at the table. Me personally, I don't know what to do with the table. I don't know what to do with the figures. Okay, so you've got to tell me in your writing at which point do you want me to look at the table, at which point do you want me to look at the figure, and what figure do you want me to look at, and what table do you want me to look at. For example, in your writing, maybe you have table 1, you have table 2, or figure 1, you got to tell me at which point what to look at and what not to look at. It's very, very important. And when I get there, it's important that you also tell me the source. Now, there is something else I want to include, especially when it comes to the figure. That's what we call figure legend. So the figure legend is where, of course, your table, by the way, in fact, I need to start all over again in terms of the table. When you come to the table, in fact, table and figure, let me put them together. Table and figure, it must have a title. So you can't just say table. So when we say, for example, table 1, you say column, okay? You say column, then you put the title of the table. Maybe if you want to write a few things underneath, fair enough. Then you can say obtain from, whatever, anything you want to say, you put the source. Okay, the same thing is applicable when you come to the figure. You say figure 1 or figure 2, whatever, then column, you put the title. Okay, let's practice it. Maybe you say figure 1 column, you say what am I going to say now? Maybe you say something like HCPC UK, United Kingdom, HCPC. That's the title. Okay, so then you can describe anything, it's up to you. Okay, so both the table and the figure should have a title. They should have label and a title. Now, what I mean by label, when you say table 1, that is label. Title is the name of the table. Do you understand me? So it has to be well labeled and well named. Okay, very, very important. The name is a title. Labeled is when you say table 1 or table 2, as the case may be. The same thing, figure 1, figure 2. So you have to label it well, and also you have to name it. That is very, very important. Now, there's also another thing I want to tell you. If you have time, you don't have to. But this one, personally, I like to see it when students do it, especially when it comes to the figure. So you've written something on the figure and you want to describe it. It's always good that your figure legend has a description of what is on the table, on what is on the figure. Okay, very, very important. So let's say you have a figure of A, B, C, whatever thing you've drawn the figure, maybe A, B, C. So it's important at the figure legend, you say maybe figure 1, whatever, HCPC register. Then you start describing it. So you describe this is this, blah, 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 in a keyword, very, summary. Then you say A shows this is because, then you say B shows. So that way, when you come to your figure, you can put number, or you can put letters there. So you can say maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, depending on what you want to explain. I hope this makes sense, okay? Or you can say A, B, C, depending on what you want to explain. I'm not sure. Let me use my mic to explain this, okay? Maybe this is a figure, because I really want you guys to understand it, okay? Maybe I think this will be better on PowerPoint presentation, but let me continue. So let's say this is a figure. I have put this figure on the text, see figure 1 or figure 2. So this is a figure. So, and I want to explain here, I want to explain here, and I want to explain here, and I want to explain here. So I could say, I can put 1 here, I put 2 here, I put 3 here, I put 4 here. So when I come to the figure legend, when I'm explaining, remember I've said figure 1, put the title. When I'm explaining, I put open bracket A, close it, then I explain the A. Okay? Then I explain, after I finish explaining the A, I put open bracket, put B, close it, then I explain the B. Okay, then I put, when I finish explaining the B, I put open bracket, say C, are you getting me? Close it, then I explain C. When I finish, then I open bracket, say D, okay, then I close it and then explain D. Do you understand me? So meaning in your figure legend, you can explain. I said A, B, but I mean 1, 2, 3. So you can actually explain 1, 2, 3, 4, or A, B, C, D, depending on how you want to structure it. But you must put, whether it is 1, 2, 3, 4, or A, B, C, D, as the case may be, you must well label it in your figure, so that in your figure legend, when you are explaining, you not capture what you are explaining. I hope that makes sense. Okay, right? So that is the best way to go about it. Now, by the time you finish explaining, then you can now say abducted from, or retrieved from, or obtained from. You quote the source. Now, a good figure depends on the figure, by the way. I'm not talking about your research, and I'm talking about you are writing a coursework. This is not a lab work, as the case may be. So a good figure, sometimes you can get a good figure from different sources. In fact, can I say this? Oh, there's so many things coming to my mind now. Right. So in UK, we have different levels. So you can say maybe you can say level 4, level 5, level 6. Let me explain what it means. Level 4 is year 1, level 5 is year 2, level 6 is final year, then level 7 is master student. Now, this video, I know it can benefit everybody, but especially when you are a master student, not to talk of if you're an undergraduate student, it is important that you don't just copy image and put on your work. It's not very good. Okay? Or copy table and see the table. When you see the table from a source, or you see a figure from a side, try to draw it yourself. Try to design it yourself, looking at them. Are you getting me? So you can draw on PowerPoint slide, you can draw on even on MS, so just use the shapes, whatever. Do your drawing as the case may be, and of course, put them together and then put it in your work. So it is always good that it's originally from you, even though you are looking at the source. So that source you are looking at to do the drawing is the one you should include at the end. That's why you say obtain, adapted, or retrieve from that source. Now, why did I say this? Sometimes you may want to draw something and you notice that, okay, let me use this for example now. So you see a paper, they just draw here, they didn't include here. Then you see another paper that draw this something, then include this. Do you understand me? So what it means that you could decide to draw and also include this. Then when you want to, at the end, you can say adapted from the paper that include this and also the paper that include this. So when you say adapted from, or retrieved from, or obtained from, it doesn't have to be from one paper. It doesn't have to be from one source. It can be from different sources. And this is also why, especially at level 7, okay, it's important when you are writing, your sources don't have to be one source. Learn to use a number of sources, 2 sources, 3 sources, 4 sources to support your claim. Okay, for example, when you say overwhelming studies or studies have shown, this is also another thing. When we say studies have shown, you can't use one source because it says studies. But when we say a study have shown, then maybe it's a study has shown, maybe then you can use one source. Do you understand me? Okay. Now, when you say that there have been an overwhelming evidence, when you say overwhelming evidence, I hope that should be more than one evidence. When you say that several studies have shown, they learn to use different sources. That's what I'm trying to say, okay? It's very, very important. These are academic practice, okay? So that is very, very important. So any images you put there, or even like I mentioned figures, I mentioned table, the same thing is also applicable with image, okay? Any image, okay? Image 1, image 2, whatever thing that you want to say, okay? Make sure you refer it on the main text. Is very, very important. I just use the word now, refer it on the main text. So what I mean is that when you are writing, that place you say, see table 1, or see figure 1, or see image 1, or if you just open the bracket and say figure 1, or table 1, or image 1, and close it, depending on what you want. That is what it means, that referring the images, or the tables, or the image, or the figures on the main text. So when I say refer the image, or the table, or the figures on the main text, what I mean is that when I get to your main text, I want to see where you say see figure 1, or figure 2, or table 1, table 2, and so on, as the case may be, or images. Okay. All right. So that is a good academic practice. Now, when another good academic practice that I would like to include here is about your citation and your reference list. It's important that all the paper that you cite in the main, your main work, okay, should be included in the reference list, okay? And that is where the type of the reference style also comes in, okay? So there are some reference style, let me just give you an example. There are some reference style that when you are putting this, when you're putting the reference list, they want you to arrange it in alphabetical order, especially when it comes to APA. Okay. Now, while there are some reference style in your, okay, let me start this again. So there's what we call in-text citation. So when I say cite the source, that is in the text, in the main text. Okay. Now the reference list is not to cite, is to mention the detail of the papers that you have used. Those papers that you've sought, you have cited, you now need to put the list. Okay. Now, what do I mean by that? In some papers, when you source it, when you cite it, okay, when you come to the reference list, they want you to arrange it according to alphabetical order. For example, maybe you got a paper that said, how will I put this? Maybe Amanda and blah 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 blah. So for the fact it starts with Amanda, that means it's A. Okay. If I say let's stay with A, maybe say we'll say Amanda, then we'll say which other name start with A? Sorry. So we said Amanda, and maybe we'll say something like Aka. Okay, that's what just came to my mind. Okay, I don't think you mean anything. Okay, okay, let's say Aaron. Okay, let's say Aaron. So because we say Aaron, okay, then maybe because you say A-R. Remember, Amanda is A-M to start with. So which one will come first? You now need to look at your alphabetical order. Which one will come first? A is on both of them, but the other one is M to start with, and the other one is R. So it should come in ascending alphabetical order. Sorry, descending alphabetical order. I think so. Okay. Now, that means that you need to arrange it that way. Do you understand me, guys? Okay. Now, that means after the A, we can get to B. Okay. Then C, and so on. So we need to arrange it in alphabetical order. That is especially when it comes to APA. While there are other citation style, okay, what it does is very different. In fact, it doesn't want you to say maybe Amanda Eta or Aka Eta or Oboda Eta in the source. They just want you to say maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, as the case may be. Now, when it comes to the reference list, they just want you to say the one that is 1 in the main text is the one they want it to be 1 in the reference list. So you just put 1 and put the one that is 1 in the text in the inter citation and put it in the reference list according to the way you arrange it there. So the one that is 1 in your inter citation is the one that will be 1 on your reference list, and that is how it goes. So there are different references style. It's up to you to make sure that you follow it very, very well. Right. In academic writing, the current academic writing as well, we are aware that because of the AI, people use AI, of course, to write and all of that. Fair enough. Nobody is against you. But listen, AI sometimes can be very deceptive, in my own opinion, by the way. Sometimes it doesn't, because AI is not in the class with you. It doesn't know what the lecturer is looking for. So what I recommend is that AI should be used for grammatical check or grammatical improvement, not for academic writing. I hope that makes sense. So, but let's leave that aside. A good academic practice demands that you must say where, if you use AI for your proofreading, it's important you also mention that you use AI. So you have to, say you use AI and mention the AI that you use, maybe Chat GPT, as the case may be. Very, very important. It's important that you mention that it's academic practice. So if you see what I've shown you now, I'm sure this will make sense. If you tally it with my previous video on academic writing, if you do this, it is very unlikely that you have issue, okay, as a university student. I think I'm going to make our time too, because it's important to know vital aspects of coursework, and I think I'm going to be discussing that next time. Maybe things like conclusion. Why is it important to mention aims and objective, or maybe aims in your writing? I will include that in my in my next video. Okay, so maybe I'm going to also mention types of research, so that some of you guys, when you are choosing your research, especially of course when you are doing your dissertation or your thesis, so that you can know what it means, not just based on ignorance and you just choose something. So I'm going to discuss about research, and also going to discuss some other vital parts of coursework, even your dissertation. All right, I hope you've guessed something. Okay, thank you very much. Please tell me what you think about this video. Tell me. So what you need to do is tell me, okay? Let me know. If you think there are great area, perhaps I forgot, okay? You can see I don't use paper. I'm just saying it as it comes to my head. So tell me if you think there is something maybe I should have mentioned. Let me know. If I have time, hopefully I should, then I'll make the video for you guys as well. Okay. Now, otherwise, I want to say thank you very much. Feel free to contact Too Good Consultant Limited for any support that you need. We are more than happy to support you. Anyway, otherwise, I wish you all the best till I come back away again. Bye bye.